to take a moment and imagine life without bees. What would change and how would life be different? 1 in 4 bites of food we eat is pollinated by bees. Liz Langley from National Geographic states that bees pollinate 85% of food crops and fruits around the world. Today, I'm going to talk about why we need bees and what we as everyday people can do to help save them from going extinct. So, why are they so important? We need bees to help pollinate our crops and fruits. Various animals depend on them for their survival of food sources like nuts, berries, seeds, fruits. Bees are responsible for the pollination of more flowers than any other animal, and pollination plays a big role in floral growth. And floral growth develops more habitats for animals. So, somewhere between 75% and 95% of all flowering plants need help with pollination. So, they need pollinators, and bees are the main pollinator. If you want to talk numbers, honeybees alone are responsible for between 1.2 and $5.4 billion in agricultural productivity in the United States. So now let's talk about what is causing the bee population to decrease. Rich Hatfield, a conservation biologist with the Exeter Society, talks about how every time a bee drinks nectar or eats pollen, they get a microdose of pesticides. So pesticides kill bees, and if they don't kill them right away, they typically bring it back to their colony, which then infects the whole colony and it severely weakens them. More than 20,000 bees around the world are already extinct today, and 1 in 4 wild bees in the United States are currently at risk for extinction. These crucial insects aren't doing very well in the recent decades, and the numbers have been decreasing rapidly. For example, there was a disease outbreak in 2016, and the United States lost about half of its honeybees. So, if bee population decreases, then food crops will decrease as well. Things like apples, blueberries, squash, the agave plant that makes tequila. They even pollinate cotton, so not just food. And without bees to pollinate those things, many of the plants would struggle to reproduce and eventually die off altogether. Now, there are things that we as everyday people can do to help. So if you have a garden or plant flowers, stop using pesticides and use organic, non-chemical soil. Some examples would be the hydroponic soil by Cloud9, organic potting mix by Gardeners, or Nature's Care. I do some gardening and so does my mom, and we both make sure that we're always using organic soils that will not be harming bees or any insects or wildlife for that matter. If you don't have a garden, you could start a bee-friendly one and plant different flowers that bees enjoy, like lilacs, lavender, sunflowers, and your lawn will look cute too, so it's a win-win. You can have a bee-friendly water fountain. So it's basically just sugar and water, and it gives them a nice little refresh, because a lot of the time on the ground, if you see a bee that you think is dead, it's probably not, and it's just exhausted and dehydrated. So you could get a bee home, and they sell them on Amazon for less than $20. I actually have one They're really cute, and you just hang them in a tree or in a bush, and your little bee can have a nice house to live in. And if any of those aren't up your alley, you can donate to a great organization. Operation Honeybee, the Bee Girl organization, or Pollinator are just a few. You could just Google it and find one that you really like and donate if you'd like. So I hope now that you can see why bees are important to our environment and why we need to take action while we can. Every small thing we do causes a ripple effect in the environment, whether it's positive or negative. And bees are essential to us living a healthy, colorful, and abundant life. And they provide for us and other animals. Without them, we wouldn't have some of the yummy foods that we eat or the beautiful flowers that we see outside. And we can do something. So even if it's something small like planting a flower or donating $1, we can help them survive. Thank you.